Assistant Professor of Policy Studies at the Ethiopian Civil Service University, and he joins us live. Thank you for your time. Talk us through the major sticking points here. What are the biggest hurdles to all parties striking a deal?
Well, I think one of the important issues which at this particular point in time is a bone of contention between the countries involved is, for one thing, whether there should be any binding agreement between the three countries, particularly involving Ethiopia. And second, I think the other important issue is whether or not the filling ground should continue the way it does. Now, I think this year it's going to be the second round happening now at this particular point in time. And I think the stakeholders from Egypt and Sudan that the filling of the Renaissance Dam in these rounds will, in one or another, disrupt their living conditions. I think these are the two important points which are being discussed. And the other relevant issue is whether or not it should be addressed within the context of Africa, or we should really engage the United Nations or not.
You say this is the second round. How have mediations progressed? Is there a sense of cooperation, or are all parties really sticking firm to their positions?
Well, frankly speaking, it doesn't seem to me that there is any development, in a sense that the three countries which are involved in this fiasco showing any signal of agreement. But it seems to me that despite the fact that, despite the concerns raised by Egypt and Sudan, Ethiopia seems to be doing the filling, and the African Union in some ways was invited to play some role, but it seems that the Egyptian and Sudanese want other parties to be part of this negotiation process.
And how do you consider that as a professor of these sorts of issues? Do you think it should remain under the mediation of the African Union, or do you think there is a place for the United Nations with regards to mediation?
Well, I think that's an important question that should be addressed. Unfortunately, no one seems to be really giving the necessary attention it deserves. I think the issue of Nile is essentially and fundamentally an African problem. And we know that the Nile Basin river system flows through 11 countries, which are African, and therefore it has to be addressed locally by local institutions and actors. And if that doesn't work out, if that doesn't progress any further than it does, then we will have other parties to play certain role. But unfortunately, the local initiative, an African problem to be addressed through African solutions, never exploited. I think the Egypt and Sudan don't seem to be really interested that the African Union play any significant role in this problem.
A very difficult mediation ahead. Mukerrem Miftah, thanks so much for your analysis.